welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. It's going to be story time again today. But just to make sure, as you've seen by the title of today, I'm at a respectable 8.1. But we're going to discuss my worst hypoglycemic event. Now, as being a brittle, labile diabetic, I can have up and down, and it can happen so quickly. There's two come to mind. The first one, I had friends visit me in the hospital. It's funny that this happened in the hospital, but I had a pretty good afternoon, and my blood sugar was 6, we'll say. It was 6 something, I'm not exactly sure, but it was a good number. And friends came, and they asked if I wanted to go downstairs. They had the Tim Hortons downstairs in the hospital. So I said, sure. I went downstairs with them, and there was a chair. I should back up. First of all, they checked with the nurse to make sure I could go downstairs. So I got in the chair, went downstairs, and I said there was a chair outside the elevator. I got into that chair. They thought, we'll push you. So they pushed me. And I got into the restaurant. I remember going into the restaurant, and then I can remember my friend giving me a either Diet Coke or Coke Zero or something along those lines. And then they said I totally zoned right out. It's probably a good thing I was in the chair, or it would have been a cold blue ringing through the hospital. They said, well, we better get him upstairs. So we went back, and here they're pushing. The only problem was those handrails that people use to walk, and I was holding on. Anything I could grab, I was holding on tight. I didn't know this, but this is what I've been told. They get upstairs, and they run to get a nurse. And they had trouble. Into my IV port, they put the big tube of, I think it was D5W, I think they call it, and they tried pressing it in. It wouldn't work. They finally called to another ward and got a nurse, a male nurse, who had the body strength to push it right in. And I came up. They just said, I thought we were going downstairs. They used to say I was downstairs, but it's funny how your mind puts together things once you come out of a low. So, they kind of put me to bed, and they said that's enough. The guys went down, brought their drinks up, and they visited for a while and they left. I'm looking at the lady across me. It was in mixed rooms. And all of a sudden, I'm out of it again. And she just looked at me and said, "He doesn't look right." So, just like I have here, she pressed the little button. Can you see it there? Maybe you can't. Right there. And they came in, and this freaked out the nurse. She had sort of just finished her practicum and was starting. But after that, I was okay for the rest of the evening. Things to watch out for. The other low I had that considered to be a worst, I had to go to a barbecue at a friend's place. Actually, it was their parents' place. Okay. So I went, got off the bus, and started walking. And I didn't know, in my mind, I knew where I was supposed to be, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was just, And I got to a corner, and I couldn't stand anymore, and I kind of dropped. And then I was just, couldn't hold myself up. I was lying back, and the fire department was called, and they arrived. And they kept asking me questions, and I remember seeing them, and then I didn't see them. And finally an ambulance came. And back then, they tried to start an IV on me. It didn't work. They wanted to give me a shot of D50 again. But they got me up, and the bag hung of just regular dextrose. It's amazing. D50 works great. It's a miracle drug for diabetics. But that day, hey, it was all my fault. I was going to a barbecue, so I thought, oh well, I'll eat light all day. I guess I didn't eat enough. And that's what happens. So ideally, what I should have done is ate my snack for dinner and my dinner for a snack. At this point, I wasn't on a pump. I was injecting, and then at the barbecue, I ate like crazy. And of course, my blood sugar was high. So it's a common occurrence if you have a low as a diabetic. The first thing you want to go is to the kitchen and eat everything. Years ago, there was a show, Alf, and I remember he would go into one of these feeding frenzies, and he would eat everything in the house. And that's what I feel like it's like with a diabetic. But keeping yourself in good control doesn't mean you're not going to have these lows. They could happen. Do your best. Follow the game plan as best you can. If it doesn't work, you gave it your best. But chances are, if you follow game plan, things will work a lot better. I'll talk to you later. Have a great day.